damage here across this part of the state.
So we have someone special with us here today to talk in person, I guess special
and
in person.
Studio.
Because we never get to see you. Exactly.
It's nice to see you guys too.
Justin Michaels, our national correspondent. You've been out in the field. We're going to have a big report from you coming up at 40 after the hour, but we want to kind of get a little preview of what folks can expect there, because you've been all over since Helene, really. You've hit every single state, I think, that was affected by either Helene or Milton.
Yeah, that's right. And it has not been an easy assignment, but certainly much easier for us than the folks who are living through it, right? And we have had the extraordinary privilege to be able to tell stories and hear from folks about what it's like to live through a 1-2 punch in Florida. Okay, we have Helene, and then 13 days later, Milton. And then also, of course, getting up into Georgia and the Carolinas, and even up into Irwin, Tennessee, where people are still going to be cleaning up. So truly an extraordinary experience over the last 22 days to talk with folks and hear what it's like. Because it's one thing to be there, and it's one thing to see it. It's a whole other thing to live it. And that's nothing that we can understand, right? Hopefully none of us ever understand what it's like to be living it. But as far as one lady we talked to there on Anna Maria Island, her name is Rita Levine, and she owns one of 4 little homes right on the Gulf, and they are called the Painted Ladies, and these homes have been there since 1912. She owns one of those homes, and it, of course, went through Helene's storm surge, and then Milton's, tremendous hurricane force winds blowing in the opposite direction. Listen to Rita right now.
I don't know how the water could come in and turn my washer and dryer on their side and upend sleeper sofa. It's just the might of that, the weight of that. It's just glad we weren't here when it happened.
So Rita there talking about that storm surge, just basically laying waste to the inside of that house.
Yeah.
And that's something that people that have never experienced it usually are taken back by. They don't realize the power of water.
Right.
Yeah.
The storms go away, but the impact certainly lingering for a long time. You were in Florida, you were in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia.
Right.
What was the most unexpected thing that you experienced in those areas?
I would say 2 things. The first of which is the sand, and you're going to hear a lot more about the sand. I know Chris and Jackie, you've been talking about the tremendous amount of sand that came inland because of Helene, and how much has been deposited. Something that Chris, you and I were just talking about, the lack of dunes. So if there is another storm, the natural barrier of dunes is not there. You go right from the water directly into people's homes and businesses. There's nothing to stop you. And that's pretty remarkable to see when you see, as long as you can drive along the beach, and we were riding with the police chief of one of the towns on Anna Maria on an ATV, you never saw a dune. Another thing was the tremendous state of things in Irwin, Tennessee. It really was truly breathtakingly apocalyptic. You just had to stand there and look at it, because it was so bizarre to see the state of the scene there and how the river brought all that debris in, closing down the highway, changing lives, just extraordinary.
Yeah, we're looking at some of that video right now. I mean, there's pretty much nothing left there.
No, and I mean, that we were there on that lady's property, Sharon, and she was fabulous. But she thinks to herself, she went through Andrew. She was born and bred in Miami. Her husband was, raised their children there, retired to Irwin, Tennessee, into the mountains. And she said, I never thought I would go to Irwin, Tennessee and live in the Smoky Mountains and have to deal with a hurricane again.
Wow.
Imagine that perspective.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
She probably thought she was going there for the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Right?
To retire and enjoy the mountains. How beautiful can they be? And they are absolutely beautiful. But I'll tell you, when those mountain streams and those mountain creeks turn into raging torrents, nothing stops what they're going through, including your house.
All right. Well, Justin, we are looking forward to your report. That's coming up at 40 after the hour. Talk to you then.
Yep.
All right.